Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel or my Shady World. In this video, we are going to explore what is there in the Pandas package and we'll see the data exploration function out there. So there are a lot of functions available in Pandas, but I have listed some top most 15 of them which is most useful whenever you do the data analysis, because in data analysis the most important part is the data exploration. So let's see how and what are those in Pandas. So let's get started. So before we head start anything, we need to first import our Pandas library. So I have already imported that, and today we are going to work on the cars related data. And so I have already imported that as well in and stored it in a data frame, called it as df here. Uh, so now let's start, which is the first one in our list. So here comes the first one, that is the head function. There are a lot of ways you want to quickly just explore what is there or the content within the data file. So the head is one of them. You can choose tail, sample. A lot of there are there in Pandas, but I would say the first one that is uh, come to my mind whenever I import any data, the first thing that I do is df.head, and simply just running this cell, this code actually, it will give me the top 5 records of this file. And this is not just to view the content, but it's also to see that how properly, or is that properly we have fetched the data file in whichever the format they are in. So here is my CSV file, so I have imported correctly, or do I need to work something on while skipping, skip the footer, skip the header, a lot of things there are, or encoding, is there any difference or did anything. So there are a lot of things. So first thing, whenever you want to display the first topmost records of your data file, so that exploration function starts with head function. So this is first number one in my list. Now, let's jump to the second one. So second one is to, I need some information regarding my data. So for that, I'll simply go with the info function. So let's run this as well. df.info, simply writing this in a code, it will give you all the details about your data. So as you can see, these are the columns. There are 13 of columns out there and 32 rows here. So it says that 32 entries, the range index. What is the class of this? This is from the pandas. So pandas core.frame.data frame. So that we have run it. And these are the data types and these are the non-null records. You can see here the QSEC, which is 29, which is out of 30 records, 29. That means 2 of the records are null records. So how you can understand that how many are non-null and is there any missing records or not. So simply running this, you will get that these are the total columns in your whole data file, and these are the total number of entries, which means the number of rows out here, and these are the data types of all your columns individual want to see. So this is the most useful, and this is how the informative one of the information that you want to gain it from your data frame. So this is the first quick look on your data, and then probably we can start on something with exploring. So I would say this is also one of the way of exploring your data. And so after this head, the next is was the info. So this is how you can have what is the memory size as well. So a lot of things you can see with the info, which is a summarized and a very give you the epitome of your whole data, that this is what it is. So now let's see the third one, which is there in my list. Now I want to see what is the shape, the dimension of the data here. So the next part is the shape. So just simply write df dot shape and run the cell. And this is how you can have the total number of rows and total number of columns. So uh, as you can see here, the range index was 32 entries, and the total columns here is a 13 columns. So simply with this shape, it will give you the dimension of your data. So this is the shape, which is again the important one to explore the data. Now The fourth one is describe. This describe is the way you can summarize your data for any numerical columns mostly being used. So df dot describe, simply writing this code and running the cell, you will see how many counts, and these counts are actually the non-null counts. If you see here for the QSEC, that is 29, which we have seen here as well, that these are the, so the count actually is counting which are the non-null. It also gives you the mean value, and as you can see here, there are model, one of the column that is a model column, and it's in the object. And if you see here, this has been excluded, so this describe is actually working for the numeric columns only. So rest of them, if you check, it's everything are in float or integer. So this is how, which are in the numeric in columns, that you can describe those columns, is one of the descriptive statistics we can say, which works only for the numerical columns. You can have the mean, the standard deviation of all those columns, individual column wise, what is the minimum value. You can have your 25% of data. This is gives you the data distribution data about your data for that specific column. So how the data has been distributed, the top 20, not top, but the 25% of your data is lying between, this is from the mean value to the 25% of your data. That gives you this idea. The 50% of your data, which is actually, you can say, the median value, this is the median of your data. Column wise, I'm talking everything in a column wise only. And then comes 75% of your data, which means that this particular column, if I say what is the 75% of data which says lies, that is from minimum to this is 22.8. So it's a value which which states this is the 75th percentile of your data, and the max value here is 33.90, here something 32, here is an 8, so it differs. So the point is, this is a descriptive statistics that you can simply have by writing this one line of code, df.describe. So this works purely for the numeric columns. Now the fifth point, or the fifth one, I would say, which are the column names, which are the columns, and the index value as well. So how we can see here, so if I write df dot columns, then this will give me the list of all those columns which are there in this data file. S dot number, mpg, which is there's a model as well, sorry I missed out because this is a describe one. If you see here, then it will list out all those 13 of my column names, which starts from serial number to model, a car model, then mpg, miles per gallon, cylinder, and so on and so forth. So this is by just simply writing df dot columns, it will give you the column names. And if you write here df dot index, then what it gives, it will give me the range that it starts from. Df.index says it starts from 0 and stops at 32. The steps is equal to 1, which means here, if I consider this df, so let's write here, I would see, just for your understanding, if I simply write df, then this will list out me all those 0 to 31 records. That is, these are the index number, and index number is incremented by 1. So that is equal to step is equal to 1. That is, it says that in every other steps, and step increase by 1, the last stop is 32, which means the point is, it starts from 0, stop is equal to 32, but the stop is equal to 32 means 32 minus 1, it's just the last value, less than 32, it's not equal to 32. So don't consider that it's saying 32, it means 0 to 31, which is in total it gives you 32, that is the stop. So this is how you can get from the index that how this index is ranging from the start to the end and how it's incremented. If it's in numeric, then it will give you the incremented value that this is how it is incremented. So from my end, these are the top five of them. So now let's explore further the five more in our next video.